How do you look at the nature of this curriculum, first of all, Mr. Su? Let me come to you first. Is this patriotism, in the principal's words, or thinly disguised nationalism?
Well, yeah, I don't think it's so-called nationalism for its education in Japan. Actually, regarding this kind of their so-called Imperial Rescript and on education, which is original from the the World War, when the Japan expanded itself to the East Asia. So this is some kind of their militarist education at that time, in the medieval time. So by this kind of education, so make the Japanese becomes the militarist, obeys the Japanese emperors to expand the Japanese missions to occupy the whole of the East Asia. So it is the vicious words for Japanese in its education.
Mm-hmm. Professor Cucek, let me come to you. What is your definition of the nature of this curriculum? Is that patriotism, as what the principal has said, or is it nationalism or militarism?
I would think that it would be best to be defined as useless rather than either of those two words. Basically, this is a curriculum based upon a document that no one else follows in the country. Therefore, they're basically isolating themselves from the rest of the Japanese people. And in so doing, these children, who of course are not in any way responsible for the things that they say or repeat, are simply being burdened with an ideology that has no purpose in the 21st century. Whether you call it patriotism, call it nationalism, is partially irrelevant. Largely, the Imperial Rescript is mostly a Confucian document. 9/10 of it is pure Confucianism. It's only the last part where it asks people to give up their lives in the service of the emperor if the emperor calls them. That's what everyone objects to, and certainly most of Japanese today look at that as an anachronism that has no purpose.
Well, were you surprised to find this kind of education in kindergarten, especially for 3- and 5-year-olds? And it is said that this practice has been in place since 2001.
The Tsukumoto Yochien, the kindergarten, is, according to its own claims, the oldest kindergarten in Japan. But even the right-wing Sankei Shimbun here calls it extremely unique. And it is. Most people have never heard of this place, cannot even believe that it exists. And it's only come to the fore because it is now building an elementary school. And that elementary school has as its honorary principal the wife of the Prime Minister, Akie Abe, who is Prime Minister Abe's spouse. That has suddenly raised awareness of this place, which for many, many decades was operating in this way with no one paying attention to it at all.
Mm-hmm. And I think that is the particular dangerous part of it, that this has been happening for such a long time. Mr. Su, let me come to you. What is your reaction upon hearing such incident in Japan, that it has been happening for so long without people paying attention to it, and its link to the wife of the Prime Minister Shinzo Abe?
Yeah, when I heard this news regarding the kind of the ridiculous behaviors in its education, it made me very surprised. At the moment we are already in the 21st century, and we're already after the World War, not only the World War II, but also the end of the Cold War. So we are on a globalized, situation at the moment. So China and Japan, even though we have some kind of problem in historical issue, but both sides already cooperate with each other in the regional integration and for the regional community building. But in this kind of the process, now in Japan, there's some kind of the negative elements still existed within the Japanese educational system. So it's a very bad word for for this kind of the current newly international society. So it's bad news.
And something else which has caused a lot of unease here in China is that the pupils in the kindergarten have been long exposed to repeated criticism or discrimination of Korea and China in public statements. For instance, the kindergarten described Korean residents and Chinese people as those with quote-unquote wicked ideas, calling the latter shinaji, which is a derogatory term for Chinese people. Now, when confronted, the kindergarten apologized on its website, and it's in a manner that if you don't pay attention, you don't really notice. The kindergarten apologized, but only for using expressions that could cause misunderstanding, and said the school will continue to fight against spiteful criticism. Professor Cucek, what do you think of this kind of very strong hate speech and this kind of apology that really is not sorry at all about what they're doing, in my opinion?
Well, the matter of the hate speech in this case, the use of derogatory terms, is part and parcel with the basic ideology of really a single individual who is the director, the principal of this, this kindergarten, who wants to start now an elementary school. He is, yes, a member of the very famous Nippon Kaigi, Japan Conference organization, which the Prime Minister is also a member of, as is Koike Yuriko, the governor of Tokyo, this so-called secret society that promotes patriotism and Shinto worship. Yes, he is the Osaka chapter member and has had contact with the wife of the Prime Minister, and she has in fact visited this daycare center slash kindergarten. This is really something that has been very, very shocking to a lot of people, that the Abes, who have been in politics for decades, are so unsophisticated and so trusting to go and get involved with this very marginal person. This is a person who believes things that are isolating the children at his school from, again, the globalized world. What company will hire people who hate Koreans and Chinese? No one. There's no place for them in the future. So this is a backwater. This is a dead end for these children. And it's really amazing that Mr. Abe and Mrs. Abe somehow stumbled and got involved with this man.
Finally, let me come to you, Professor Mr. Su. How do you see the fundamental reason behind the existence of such a kindergarten and people who want to teach young kids such useless ideology? Is that, what is your opinion on that?
Yeah, as we know, recent years in Japan, the right wing becomes more and more obvious and active in the Japanese society. And with the kind of political background, so Japanese government, in particular some Japanese right-wing politicians like Shinzo Abe, become the prime minister. So he has a very strong ambition to be, the pioneer for Japanese new political phenomena, to reform the Japanese constitution and make Japan more and more military orientation, and make Japan has more ambition within the region of East Asia to take so-called Japanese, the head within the region to take place of China. So that's real, the problematic situation in Japan.
Okay, thank you very much, gentlemen. We have to leave it there. You have been watching The Point.